All right, so this is, I guess, part two of my selling my gallery and kind of taking you on that journey. I think there are some serious learnings here. Definitely some aha moments that I've encountered just kind of digging in as I dug deeper into this. You'll see this coming up, but let's kind of tackle the very first part of it. So the first video I talked about kind of why I was doing that. Go check it out, kind of the theory behind it. And actually, I was recently on John Nellis's podcast as well, or YouTube video as well. And I kind of go pretty deep into just all of the thinking behind it. So definitely check that out. But so, okay, you've made the decision, you're going to sell your gallery. So where do you go? What do you do? So, I mean, you could do something like this, start searching for, there's a lot of managers that'll kind of name themselves something about buying your gallery, or are you selling, swapping, things like that. You could click on them and then approach them on Discord. There is an easier way, and there's actually like a thread on Discord called galleries somewhere down here. There it is. So, for sale trades, want to buy, and then galleries. And basically people post every single day saying like, hey, I buy galleries, please reach out, whatever. And then what I did was I just went in here and I posted my link to my gallery, said, hey, I'm selling, reach out. And sure enough, I got about 4 or 5 inquiries. I could have reached out to all the people on that thread just to be sure, but I mean, I think somewhere around maybe all of these guys or something. So, this is some kind of bullshit offer, dude. But I mean, I won't click on their messaging, just I think to respect their privacy. But they were all very quick and honest and everything. And I tended to get somewhere between 82, 83% up to about 87 or so. And it was actually Roddy Boss that we agreed on and made a deal. And so basically just a bit of back and forth. He was very nice to work with, assuming I guess they were great to work with. And anyways, and then we basically just went into transferring them. And what you do is you kind of transfer them 10 at a time. So I'll show you here. So, you'd get this offer, and, for about 10 cards or so. I think it's down there more, but anyways, gives you an idea. And then one thing to keep in mind is that it's the lowest. So we land on 87%, and it's the lowest of these two numbers. So in this case, like say, if I was selling this one, it would be the floor price is the lowest. So it was 87% of this. In his case, the 3-day average is lower. So it's 87% of that. So I found when I was getting the offer and had to kind of calculate, I had to like look on each one and really get the numbers. It was all legit. He wasn't trying to scam me in anything. It was just, I just wanted to kind of make sure. And that's sort of how it goes. So, now, interestingly, I did kind of hang on to some players. So after we came to this agreement on the percentage, which I think some people maybe just think more of like ETH or something. They just get an offer, here's 10 ETH or whatever, and they decide. I kind of want to focus on percentage because I knew I was going to see if I could hold back a couple players. And I just wanted a percentage, just made more sense to me than with ETH kind of floating up and down and things like that. That's how I focused on it. And 87%, seemed pretty good, but then I tried to kind of carve back some additional players, and it was funny. I sort of had maybe 8 or 9, and some of them were like some of my better cards. And he was like, well, no, I can't, I'm not going to give you 87% if you want to hold those cards back. It'd probably be more like 82 or something. So, realize you obviously are giving up some of your most valuable cards for a reason. That sort of makes the entire gallery worth it. So, but I did hang on to just a couple, and this guy's a local guy. It's his first card and stuff, plays for the Whitecaps. And so that was maybe a little sentimental. And then, but it was interesting to me that the super rares were kind of not as, he didn't mind sort of giving those away. That wasn't really like an issue. So, I wanted to hang on to this one. This one's kind of also more of like collectability since he's retired and all that. And so he's like, yeah, sure, it's not really worth a lot. You can't play it too much. So he's fine with that. And then this one I just think has a ton of potential. I just really want to hold on to it. It's card 1. So I think that's it. Yeah. And then actually, interestingly, toward the end, he sort of said to me, hey, do you mind? I'd kind of rather not buy Chiquinho. And is that okay? Do you mind hanging on to him? And, I want to start playing a bit more rare pro division. So I was like, yeah, sure, he's scored pretty well. I'm not, I'm fine to hang on to him. But it did kind of make me wonder, why were the super rares so, why was he a little quicker or easier to sort of let me hang on to those? And when you look at, so I went into his gallery here, and first off, so there's two things. One is, these are my cards, so those two there, and then these, and then there's nothing really else. Even if I go to the next page, you'll see it's like it's cards I didn't own. So two realizations here. One, yeah, I guess trying to sell super rare is really hard. It's not a liquid. It's not as liquid as rare and limited. And so if you're someone like him who buys and sells constantly, these are really hard cards to sit on for a long time, especially because these are pretty middling players. Maybe Sertel's all right. Moulin, if he gets to play a bit more. But yeah, it's really not really the game he's into. And so that's the first thing. So, and you kind of see this, like he's buying and selling, like he doesn't play or win cards or like play any SO5s. He has a lot of cards and he has great valuation. But like, look at, I mean, he's literally making sales. Like, look at, I mean, here he actually looks like he just bought a gallery, you can tell. But I mean, like, so the 16th, I mean, I can go on and on, the 15th. Like he's literally making, 20, 30 deals a day. So that's what he's doing. And it's great. So, but I did find it was pretty shocking to me. It's only been 3 weeks and he sold basically like all of my rares and super and limiteds. And so that was a realization. I was like, shoot, could I have just sold them myself over the span of 2 or 3 weeks? And then I wouldn't have had to necessarily get a discount, 87%. Maybe I'd get 100 or 95 or something like that. Other than, of course, the super rares, which I guess are much harder. So I actually kind of started to dig in to see, okay, well, what did he make on them? Because, of course, in here, you can actually, I mean, the page is kind of slow to load. So if you ever do this, you have to have a bit of patience. But you can kind of Control F and find your card and see what he sold for and everything. So I'll show you. It's really rough. But and by the way, so this is what he sold, say, this card for. And then this says card value when traded. I didn't know if that meant like what he bought it at. I think what this just means is like what it was valued at, like similar to like something like this. I don't think it has anything to do with how he acquired it. But anyway, so I was mainly looking at this, and let's have a look at this now. So again, this is pretty rough, but so I took this one sort of group of 10 that we bundled together. And so these 4 were rare keepers, and then all of these were limiteds. And I basically, it was 2.18. So that's the 87% value. So whatever these were at the time, it was probably like 2.46 or whatever the number is to get to 87% is 2.18. So that's what I received. So I went in and I looked at the price he sold them for. So again, this thing here, and basically plugged all these in. Now this one I don't actually know because he made a trade of it. He traded Demerol and Herrera limited for Bongonda. So, and he still, I think, has that card. So I can't really tell. So I just kind of plugged in sort of what the average price was for Demerol. And then this is that inner column, like I said, this thing here, because I was just kind of curious as to what that even accounts for. And interestingly, when you add this up, you get this number. And if you take 87%, it's basically that number. So I wondered, oh, maybe this is what we sort of based it off of, but I don't think so. I think it's a coincidence. Anyways, bigger point is add all these up, and he basically made 2.6. That's the sale he made. So he's or sort of 2.35 plus he owns Bongonda instead of Demerol or something. You could look at it that way. The point is, he's made about half an ETH off of me in only 10 cards. And they're at about 150 cards or something. So so then I'm like, oh man, so he's making probably at least maybe 2-3 ETH or something like that off of this. And I looked, and then I took this other one, and there was a few I couldn't find for some reason. Like, so I couldn't find a second Dabber limited. I had 2 of them. Gerbic, I couldn't find either. This Onikuri, he sort of sold for, or he traded for Zele and added 0.03. So like this doesn't, but if we just even just add this up, the sum down here is 0.428. So, already a 0.1 or something. Again, not huge numbers, but still coming out ahead. So I guess the big takeaway for me was like, man, I probably could have just taken 2 or 3 weeks and just liquidated it myself, just given how liquid, limited and rare is, and probably made more and maybe made 95% of my value or something like that. And in fact, I kind of noticed that there were some cards I was putting up as I was talking to these people, and they would sell pretty quickly. So I just assumed they were your sort of more hot commodity type cards versus all this other stuff that I had that I was like, I'm not going to be able to sell this stuff. And so I think I was wrong. Like, I think in the sense, like, if you had a bit of time and effort, you could definitely liquidate your gallery quickly in a couple weeks. He's obviously in the business of doing this, and good on him for it. It is a lot of work. Like, again, we look at all of this, like all of these posts he has to make, and he probably gets all of these offers, and he has to decline and accept, and he probably gets lowballed and all this stuff. So I'm not saying it's great. I mean, this feels like a full-time job, and I just wanted to do something in like one fell swoop and then get back to building my gallery. So I'm not too upset, and I think that 87% is like reasonable. I tend to be someone that like accepts when someone like offers like 95, even 90% of my posted number anyways. So I was like, I'm really only giving up a few points there, and probably what I would have accepted in the open market. So anyway, saved me time and all that. And I got kind of a good learning. But I think in the future, like if I did this 12 months from now, I might just try and sell it all myself, and just see if I just get better return. So anyways, hope that's helpful. Next one up, I'm going to kind of take you through what my strategy is going forward, how I think I'm building, and where I'm already falling into some past behaviors, and but sort of, again, learning along the way. So hope it helps. We'll see you out there. I'm a lot more active on Twitter, by the way. Sorare strategy. I kind of ignored Twitter for the longest time. Like, I want to say like a good decade, but sort of getting more active on that. So come and chat to me on there if you like. All right. Talk soon. Bye.